Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making a spread in my handmade chunky art journal. I used mainly papers that well, I did not like really for projects, or some papers that were just papers that I painted with leftover paint, so I did not have to throw away the paint. And these papers are in this journal. There is a tutorial on how I made this on my channel. I will try to link that up in the top right corner info box. I'm starting out by adhering some of my handmade washi tape to the pages, and there is also a tutorial for that vintage washi tape on my channel, and I'm going to link that up as well. The washi tape is made from a gummed paper tape, which means there is a glue on the backside that activates once it gets wet. So I'm just using a bit of water on a brush and activate the glue, and then I can stick the washi tape down. What I really love is that with the washi tapes I have already loads of textures going on the background, and as that's a project where I don't have a lot else to do, and especially in this journal the pages are quite small, so there is not so much room to play or to think about what I'm doing. So I just do something. And today I plan to adhere some of these washi tapes, and then I want to go in with watercolors and see where that spread takes me, if I like it. And I maybe plan to add some of the mushrooms on top that I've made recently, if I find some matching ones and if I like them on the page. But I think because of the upcoming season, I'm trying to focus on an autumnal art journal spread. I usually always create a little bit with the season because I'm inspired a lot by nature, by the colors, by the weather, the smell outside. And usually once autumn comes in, I like the cozy feeling, and I like certain images more. Yeah, that's just how I work. On the blue washi tape, I used images from our new calf collection stamp set, which I'm truly in love with. And I will link up all the products I'm using in the video description, and there is also linked up our blog post over on the shop blog where you can have a look at the close-up images of the finished art journal page. As I plan to go over the top with watercolors, I'm going to prime the pages with some clear gesso. That's my favorite background for watercolors. I also really like that ultra matte medium that I recently discovered from Liquitex, but for watercolors I prefer the clear gesso because it has a bit more grip and will work a bit better than the matte medium, I think. I'm applying a thin layer over the top of each page that secures my washi tape a bit from the wetness of the watercolors, and it also gives me the surface to work over the top with watercolors, because working over acrylics doesn't work with watercolor because they will just peel off everywhere, and with the gesso you get a little bit of grip and you get a really interesting texture with watercolors. And what I especially love, the watercolor sits on top and it does not sink into anything, and that makes that the colors stay more vibrant than they would do on watercolor paper. In the past, I bought the Daniel Smith watercolor ground because I thought that might be the perfect surface to work on, but I quickly realized that it just creates some kind of paper surface, and the watercolor paint sink into it immediately, and they get very muddy, not muddy, but they get so weak, I would say. And I hated that, so I still have that background, that ground laying around, and have no idea how to use it. I'm using my granulating watercolors today. I made recently a palette with all my granulating watercolors. There is a video available for my members over at my membership. I'm sharing every other Saturday a video exclusively, plus some bonus videos in between, like the watercolor palette, for example. Yeah, I can't tell you which exact colors I'm using. I have different brands in this set. I have watercolors from Mijello, from Daniel Smith, from Wenn Ihr, I think even from Schminke a few. And the only non-granulating watercolor I have in this set is a opera pink, which looks like a neon pink a little. And that's the only not granulating watercolor, but I use that color a lot together with the granulating watercolors because I love that pop of color a lot, and that's the reason why I put this also into my palette. And here I decided to use that bright color a little bit at the corner and just moving it across the page. I really like how this pops up against the other colors, and I think it turns the background towards a more, I would say, more moody background. I let that dry, and here I'm coming in with a Neocolor crayon. It's a very light color. It might be one of the new Neocolors that comes exclusively in one of the 50th edition set, but I don't know. It's just a light creamy color, and I'm applying it directly to the page, and then I go in with my wet finger, and I have to pick a clean finger to not dirty it up. I have so messy hands when I'm creating, and I'm just moving the pigments around and I'm blending that light area in very carefully to that colorful background, and that brings in some highlights. Yeah, and I think it just gives it also more vibrancy and a bit more life. I decided to add a little bit extra stamping, although there is a lot going on the background, but I really wanted to stamp that butterfly. I accidentally inked it up a second time and then realized I don't need that one twice, so I just stamp it to the next page. It's always good to have something going on the page, even if it's a mess. It really takes away the pressure when you have a messy background. As the book is super bulky, I'm laying a piece of foam underneath when I'm stamping this butterfly wing to the left side, because I don't want to mess up that stamp image. I'm now going in with my Neocolors and do some mark making. I love that they layer opaque over the top of darker areas. That makes the page more dimensional. It gives you another layer and creates a lot of depth. To stay cohesive with the pink, I also picked a pink, neon pink acrylic marker and also add a little bit of a pattern. I really love to play with different mark makings over a spread because that gives me layers and adds depth, and I also really love just playing in that way. I still have some of my mushrooms left, and especially the pink ones. I've picked them out for another spread that I've already shared, but then I ended up using some other mushrooms. And I think these are perfect for this page because of the pink in them. And I'm just now arranging them to the spread. I have a look where I want them to sit. I think I will put them more in the areas where I have less going on. And I always try to cover up areas that I find a little bit more boring. Yeah, and that's how I work. When I cover up stuff, I always try to cover up areas I don't really like. Of course, sometimes that does not work. I speed this part up a little bit because it takes me some time to figure out where I want to place things, and then I'm also going to adhere them with some liquid craft glue to my spread. To finish that spread up, I'm coming back in with a Neocolor again. I have a light orange here because I think I found that color anywhere on the page, and I thought I needed in some other spots as well, and so I'm making just a few more marks. That's my spread for today. I hope you enjoyed that video and you are inspired, and hopefully we will see us next time. Bye!